everybody. Welcome to the HearHerHands knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer, and I am a deaf knitter, crocheter, quilter, and seamstress located in Baltimore, Maryland. This is one of my miniature schnauzers. This is my service dog, and since I'm deaf and he's a hearing dog, I don't give out his name, so you can call him S. Huh, buddy? He's gonna be here for a little bit, probably not for long. I'm not sure about this chair, huh? Are you? Okay. So here on this podcast, nope, are we done? You went down? Okay. Well, that was short-lived. So much for that. So you got to meet one of my miniature schnauzers. Anyway, here I talk about cozy knitting projects, products, and materials and other accessibility things, items I use to do my knitting and crocheting and sewing, whatever else, as a disabled crafter. So let's get started. Hi, bud. Hi, buddy. Good boy. Yeah. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yes, he is. Hi. I know. I love you too. It is really rainy and dreary outside right now, but it's kind of the perfect transition, and I'm thrilled because we normally don't get much of a transition here in the Northeast. All right, so this is my TGIF podcast, which means thank goodness it's fall. Also Friday, because it is Friday, September 27th, I believe. So, for the TGIF podcast, I currently have a lot on my needles, and I don't know if any of these things are going to get done. I'll be lucky to do the one that's already like at the top of my queue. But here is a small list of wishful knitting projects I want to do in the fall, and possibly I'll push them on into the winter. I have a ton of yarn. I've been kind of building up a stash since I started knitting 2 years ago. So I really want to spend this winter looking into my stash, possibly doing a yarn organizing video, and then specifically only knitting from stash for this year. So, first to begin for my plans for this winter fall is that my main goal is to replace this sweater that I'm wearing, and I'll put in some B-roll specifically so you can see what it really looks like. But just some like pattern or product attributes I want to keep in mind for this. I want something that is a little oversized with a drop shoulder and probably folded hems, and then the hem on this is like a curved hem. It's like a shirt tail hem with a V-neck. And I know this pattern is not in style at all. So it's probably, if you've ever seen anything like that, it's probably going to be an older pattern or in a book or something like that. But if you can think of anything that is similar to this that I could use as my jumping off point for knitting a replacement sweater, I would be so incredibly grateful. So I want to knit this in more of a soft summer color. So I have a couple of options. I have lots of purples and blues, so I would probably knit it in like a two-tone blue, like a darker and a lighter soft summer blue, or a darker and a lighter soft summer purple, or maybe navy and, I don't know, winter white. It is really hard for me to find a good soft summer white color in yarn. It's just so hard to tell what the color is, especially when you don't have access to a lot of in-person yarn stores. Like, I do have a couple local yarn stores local to me in Baltimore, but I don't drive, so I have yet to visit any of them. But that's my hope. So a few options of patterns I found that might be a good replacement for this are, let's see, one of my friends, I specifically asked on Instagram, and one of my friends on there said I might be able to use this folded cheek blank canvas sweater and like fashion a similar knit by modifying that. So that shirt is sort of a fitted pattern, so I'd probably have to size up to a medium. And that sweater has something that's between a saddle shoulder and a raglan, which would also be a new skill for me. But I wonder how that would work, how that would look with a stripe. And also, my only real concern with that pattern would be like how to add a V-neck and how to get the more rounded hem style that I'm looking for. So the blank canvas is knitted in DK, and it has 16 sizes from 30 to 60 inches, or from 76 to 152.5 centimeter, with 2.5 centimeters of positive ease. The pattern sells for $11 on both Ravelry and Isolde's website. So the next sweater that is a pretty close dupe for this one is a Danish pattern, and after searching multiple pronunciation websites, I can't hear half of the letter. So I really don't want to attempt it because I'm absolutely going to butcher it. So I'll spell it for you. And it's H-E-I-D-E, and it's by Anka Strick. And it's worked seamlessly from the top down and has a dropped saddle shoulder. Also, it's knit in a fingering, which is probably a lot closer to a match to this, but would take a lot of time to knit, I'm sure. And it is from a 34.5 to an 48.5 inch bust, which I think maybe makes it not size inclusive. So if I decided to make this one, it would be because I gave up on finding a good matching pattern that matches this. So it can be found on Ravelry for €8 or $8.91 USD. So next is a sweater I saved because the first project or like example photo in the listing on Ravelry comes up is very, very similar looking to this, but it's reversed as far as like it looks like it has more dark color than light color, and it's still a black and white stripe. I'm not sure how that works, honestly, because this looks very evenly black and white, but anyway. The sweater is called A Hint of Summer by Isabel Kramer, which is it's listed, the sizing letter is from an extra small to a 3XL, but it says it has 2 mediums listed, so maybe it's more close to a size inclusive pattern. It's a lace weight as well, and it can be found on Ravelry for €5.90 or $6.57 USD. So another possibility that I'm thinking of is if I knit the Brooklyn Raglan by Tori Yu and removed the texture patterning on the like sleeves and back or something and use stripes instead. But I really like Tori Yu's pattern, so I looked at all of those patterns that she has, and I think she does a good job of having the elements in a sweater or in a shirt that I really prefer, as far as like she has different hem styles. She has a high-low, she has a curve, and she has a split hem options like in her different sweater pattern examples, not necessarily in this single pattern that I'm talking about. But the Brooklyn Raglan is DK, and it has a finished bust from 34 to 66 inches. And there's also a fingering weight version of this sweater and a cardigan option, so you could buy any of those if you were wanting to knit the same sort of thing. You can get the Brooklyn Raglan on Ravelry, say that 5 times fast, for $8.50 USD. So I have a lot of wishful knits, and I don't think I'm going to get any of these. But one thing I really want to knit sometime between now and spring probably is a shacket. So I currently have a store-bought, it's a cream and black plaid shacket that I wear all the time. And it's really, really nice for this kind of in-between dreary fall weather where when it's not raining, where it's not super cold yet, and the wind doesn't blow right through it, and it's not so warm that you can't wear a jacket at all, right? So I want to knit one because, first of all, those aren't my colors at all, and second of all, I think a wool one would be a lot more comfortable and a lot nicer to wear. Although I think it is wool, but it's lined. Anyway, so my options for right now is I want to knit either the Mile shirt jacket by Ozetta, or I want to knit the Gold Dust shacket, I believe, by Morale Macari. I apologize if I butchered your name. I'm so sorry. So the Gold Dust is knitted in boucle, and the Miles is knitted in unspun, and neither of these are things I've ever knitted with or even bought or in my stash, but I may look into the projects and see if I can find something that is closer to what I have in my stash. Like maybe I can use a lace weight and a fingering. No, that's a DK. I'm not sure. I want to try to find something in my stash to knit one of these with anyway. Oh no, having a dog up here is problematic. Anyway, the Gold Dust jacket is knitted up in what I believe amounts to be a worsted weight, so it might be a warmer jacket overall. I'm not sure. But the Mile shirt jacket has sizing from extra small to 5XL, which is good, and can be bought on Ravelry or on Ozetta's website for $6.50 USD. And then the Gold Dust shacket is sized from a full bust of 30 to 62 inches, which I think is still pretty good. And can be bought for $9 USD on Ravelry. So I have two more things I want to show you. So this is the next thing. I really want to use this Hawthorne fingering in the color Woodstock, which is really pretty. Like the mix of purples and greens and blues. And I think it's very much in the soft summer palette. So originally I bought this before I got my ball winder, obviously. And I bought it to knit up what was it called? The Haruni or the Moonstone shawl for a friend of mine whose father is a florist and who regularly needs like a floral-ish wrap for special florist events. But I really wanted to do that. But then I fell in love with this yarn and I couldn't give it away. So I did something in more green than leafy products for her. But I want to use this and I want to wear this. So my first thought for this is I might do the Tiny Dancer pullover, which is it's supposedly suited specifically for a single skein of soft yarn, and then it has like a dot dash motif across the front panel, and I don't know. I would like to do that if I can find a good coordinating background color for this. Do you have any thoughts, especially in soft summer colors? So is it called winter white or a soft gray, or I don't know, would navy look good with this? Any thoughts? So that sweater is boat neck with 3/4 length sleeves, which I don't know, I like 3/4 length. Maybe I would do that. And it has a finished bust from 33 to 66 inches, which looks good to me. But it's designed to help you use a skein or two of variegated sock yarn, which is a top-down, drop-shoulder pullover. And it looks like stranded knitting, it's a collar work, sort of, but it's a collar work. It is a mosaic because you only ever knit with one color at a time. And you can buy it on Ravelry for $8.99 USD. So one more thing. I have is like a very, this actually might actually be too warm for me, but this is like a soft gray. And I want to use this as either the base color for a stripy sweater. Or my other thought is to put this and pair it with the Make It Tweed. But I also don't know what I would use this for. So I'm more of a cardigan girly. If you have any ideas, let me know. And then also I've included my Ravelry bundle with all the patterns that I'm looking at, possibly using for these, and specifically the Darling cardigan, of course, which I'm definitely going to be making as soon as I finish either the Salty Days or one of my many test knits. So the next pattern that I'm really looking to do, probably like first in my queue technically, is I am planning on knitting another pattern by Kutovakika when I finish my Salty Days. And I am going to be knitting the Darling cardigan out of Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud UK, which is this. And so I used the Alpaca Cloud UK in my Salty Days, like my initial swatching for this, and I really like it, but I just didn't have enough for that pattern, and I think the Darling cardigan is plenty. But because I was concerned, the Alpaca Cloud from Knit Picks I think it's discontinued. It's not a thing they offer anymore. When I bought it, it was like the end of it. So this is the color Nora. So what I did was I believe I did an image search. I searched the image of this, and I came up with a very similar yarn, which is also alpaca. This is called the Indecidia UK, which is 100% baby alpaca. And I don't know if it says the color letter. The color letter is M4406. I found this, and I think these are close enough, like the slightest difference, that if I just alternate this game while I'm knitting this pattern, it should be okay. So I am going to use that like purpley gray and knit a Darling cardigan, which is a classic and timeless cardigan with a drop shoulder and a wide neck neckline. The contemporary silhouette makes this design easy to style for any occasion. The cardigan is worked from the top down, which makes it easy to customize as far as length. And it comes from extra small to 5XL. It can be found both on Ravelry or Kutovakika's website for €690 or €804 US. I've outlined my very ambitious dream fall knitting plans. Thank goodness it's fall, y'all. Everyone else excited for the change in seasons. It has been so hot. We are ready for something else, right? So, if you can think of any sweater patterns that would work for any of these yarns, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any thoughts specifically for the Hawthorne sweater yarn, let me know. I'm definitely more of a like warm, long sleeve, boxy sweater girly, but anything at this point. I just want ideas, and I would so appreciate your help. So until next time, I'm Jennifer, and you can find me as HearHerHands on Instagram, Ravelry, and pretty much anywhere you find things. My website, HearHerHands.com, should be coming soon. And also, if you enjoyed your day, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. Ring the bell to get notified next time we upload. And finally, my buddy and I will see you soon.